truth seekers, buckle up. What I'm about to show you will shock you. Every year, billions of dollars vanish through AI-powered scams, and almost none of it comes back. According to global recovery data, less than 0.4% of stolen funds are ever recovered. Let that sink in. Not 4%, not 1%, 0.4. And if you think that won't affect you, think again. Because this isn't a story about criminals being clever. It's a story about a system that makes recovery almost impossible by design.
I need to explain what happened with the scam. Please, go on, I'm listening. They took all my savings and I don't know what to do.
After a scam, almost every victim hears the same words.
Don't worry, we'll investigate it. There is still time.
Banks say it. Law enforcement repeats it. And victims cling to it. Because hope feels better than panic. But here's the part they don't want you to know. Recovery doesn't fail weeks later. It doesn't fail after paperwork. It fails in the first minute. The moment money leaves your account, it enters a system built for speed, not reversal. By the time a human reviews your case, the system has already moved on. This is exactly why you can't trust the comforting language. Because while you're being told, "We're looking into it," your money is already disappearing. This is where the real gap begins. On one side, you have crime operating at machine speed, automated transfers, instant routing, systems talking to systems. On the other side, you have humans, forms, queues, jurisdictions. Crime moves in seconds, justice moves in days or weeks. And just when you think speed is the real problem, plot twist, it's even worse than you think. Because speed isn't what makes your money vanish. Speed is just the opening act. What really makes recovery impossible is what happens after the money moves. This is where the first disappearance happens. Not the money itself, but the trail. Once funds enter the system, they don't move in one direction anymore. They split, they fragment, they scatter across dozens, sometimes hundreds of paths. There is no single transaction to follow, no clean line from victim to thief, just pieces, everywhere. And here's the brutal reality they're hiding. Investigators aren't chasing a trail, they're chasing fog. Each fragment looks harmless on its own, but together, they're impossible to reconstruct before the system moves again. This is exactly why recovery collapses so early. Because the moment the money breaks apart, accountability breaks with it. Then comes the second disappearance. Not technical, political. As fragments move, they cross borders, different countries, different laws, different clocks. One agency sees one piece, another sees a different one. No one sees the whole picture. And just when responsibility should transfer, it evaporates. Because every border crossed is another excuse not to act, another delay, another form, another not our jurisdiction. Here's the part they don't want you to know. Your money doesn't cross borders. Responsibility does. And responsibility is very easy to lose. Now we get to the most powerful weapon in the system: time. Criminal systems move in minutes. Investigations move in weeks, sometimes months. By the time a case becomes serious, the money is already history. Accounts are closed. Records expire. Trails go cold. This isn't an accident. It's the math. The longer something takes, the less likely anyone is held accountable. And here's the most uncomfortable truth of all. Delay doesn't protect the victim. It protects the system. Because once enough time passes, no one is required to fix what happened. At this point, it's tempting to think something went wrong. A failure. A loophole. But here's the brutal reality they're hiding. Nothing broke. The system worked exactly as designed. Modern financial and digital systems were built for three things: speed, convenience, global scale. They were not built for reversal. They were not built for accountability. And they were never built to put victims first. This is exactly why you can't trust the idea of "we'll fix it later," because later doesn't exist in a system optimized to move forward and never look back. Now, zoom out. Far above the victims. Above the money mules. Above the middlemen we exposed last episode. You'll find something uncomfortable. A pyramid. At the bottom, people who lose everything. In the middle, operators who take the risk. And at the top, systems and institutions that profit from volume, from friction, and from silence. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The people committing the crime aren't the ones making the most money. And the people making the most money never have to touch the crime at all. This is the part of the underground you're not supposed to look at. So what do? When the system isn't built to save you, you stop expecting recovery. And you focus on prevention. Because once the money moves, it's already too late. Here's what you need to know to protect yourself. Reduce your attack surface. Slow down verification. Document everything early. These aren't guarantees. They're survival habits in a system that won't wait for you. Protection doesn't come from trust. It comes from preparation. This wasn't a story about criminals disappearing your money. It was a story about a system that makes disappearance inevitable. You don't vanish because you're guilty. You vanish because the system moved on without you. In the next episode, we follow the money upward to the people who profit without ever touching the crime. That episode is called The Profiteers. Until then, remember this. In a world full of fake, I'll guide you to the truth. stay skeptical, stay protected, and I'll see you in the next investigation.